Oh my God. Do you remember the Monsanto douchebag Kevin Folta, University of Florida? This is the guy who lied to the public, said he didn't have any financial ties to Monsanto while he's out there pushing all this Monsanto propaganda, GMO propaganda on GMO Answers, which is the front group fake science website put out there by the biotech industry. Anyway, this guy has been caught. He was later exposed in the emails, for, lying about Monsanto, and the emails showed that he wrote Monsanto something along the lines of, I'll say whatever you want me to say. This is going to be you're going to get a good return on your investment. He got $25,000 from Monsanto. Well, now it has come out. This guy is a total psycho. He launched a radio, an online podcast by creating a fictional host that he named Vern Blazek. And he launched the Vern Blazek Science Power Hour. And it was really his voice altered to be a lower sounding voice. And here's some of what it sounds like. Check this out.
Vern Blazek, Science Power Hour, with your host, Vern Blazek. Vern Blazek takes you to the interface of the cutting edge of science.
All right, so this is like psychopath type stuff. This is like, put the lotion in the basket, from Silence of the Lambs, like that kind of category of stuff. And then after launching this podcast, Vern Blazek's Science Power Hour, and, trying to create this other person who he said lived in Tillamook, Oregon, he then uses it to interview himself. So he stages this interview with himself and has Vern Blazek, which is him in a lower voice, interviewing Kevin Folta, which is him. So this guy, this is like Norman Bates psychopath type stuff, like, oh, Norman, have you been bad lately? No, Mama, I've been good. I mean, that's what this guy is like. Kevin Folta, University of Florida. And the university refuses to fire him. They love this guy because he's such a prostitute for Monsanto. But now he's veered into, I don't know, psychopathic zone, perhaps. I mean, this is some creepy stuff. He goes on the show, his own show, where he's impersonating the host, and then he decides to sing the Carpenters song. And here's what it sounds like.
Why do birds fall down from the sky every time you walk by?
Okay, all right. So this is Kevin, the Monsanto douchebag Folta, doing a duet with himself as a fictional podcast host that he invented. I guess because no one will actually interview him since he's been so totally discredited. So this has entered the Twilight Zone, right? Remember, this is the guy that speaks for Monsanto, all right? This is the guy that Monsanto gave money to. This guy and John Entine, of course. Oh, Mr. John Entine, the wife strangler, John Entine, exposed in the documents. It's all over truthwiki.org if you want to search his name. Try to choke out his wife on their own porch in front of their daughter. These people are truly psychopaths. They are mentally deranged. And so who launches a radio show or a podcast show, impersonates some other person, tries to get it accepted as if this is some other host, then interviews scientists to defend GMOs and talk about how they're saving the world with their patented seeds, and then goes on his own show to interview himself, all while failing to inform the audience that host is him. Wow. Well, we shouldn't be surprised, right? Because this is a guy who of course, hid the fact that he was being paid by Monsanto, that he accepted all this grant money from Monsanto, which, by the way, was an unrestricted grant to be used for, quote, I think it was GMO education or something, public education, something like that. In other words, it's like, here's 25 grand, use it however you want. As long as you say you're educating people, you could take a trip to Hawaii, educate somebody on the airplane. And that's using it appropriately. So this is the guy who does not disclose what's really going on. And his colleagues think that the Freedom of Information Act is a horrible thing because science should not be conducted with transparency, they say. Science should be all about total secrecy. And because they're such losers, these people are so pathetic and mentally deranged, no one will they don't have any real audiences. They don't have any fans. I mean, who wants to snuggle up with creepy Kevin Folta singing The Carpenters with himself in an altered voice of a fake podcast host that he invented? I mean, talk about Creepville. This guy's like one step away from being a total Jared Fogle, the Subway spokesperson. Oh, man, I imagine what might come out of it if we actually got a hold of this guy's phone texts. Well, yeah, are you scheduled for the interview? No, I'm not, Norman. I need some extra time to prepare. Oh, Mother, the interview time is coming up right now. Well, let's get you on the air. And it's all himself. It's himself talking to himself. This is like, I don't know, like podcast masturbation or something. What do you call this? University of Florida. Does this guy teach classes? And if he does he teach classes in his own personality, or does he show up in disguise like someone else? Oh, this is Professor Blazek coming to you now from the University of Florida. Does he show up as in a disguise and teach students? Is he suffering from multiple personality disorder? Does he believe that he isn't actually doing a deal with Monsanto because, well, it's his other personality that cashed the check and spent the money, but not the Kevin Folta that teaches classes at the university? Is that what we're dealing with? This guy's brain has it split into 2 or 3 or 4 parts, you know? And are we gonna get to hear one of these parts testify against the other? Well, that damn Kevin Folta, yeah, he spent our money, says Vern Blazek. Perhaps. I mean, really? Wow. I am not surprised. I mean, there are total psychos out there who are pushing vaccines, who are pushing GMOs, psychos like David Gorski, psychos like John Entine, psychos like this guy, Kevin the douchebag, the Monsanto douchebag, let me get that correct, Folta, absolute psychopaths. And they claim to have the science high ground. Well, hey, if this is the best that science has to offer, oh my God, humanity, look out. We should run from these people. We should run from the University of Florida. I mean, seriously? Wow. These people are a disgrace to the scientific community, and they've all been exposed now with their once secret emails, and they can't stand the fact that they're being exposed. But boy, are they a source of just endless amusement for the rest of us. And that's what I would like to celebrate here today. This source of amazing, endless amusement called the Kevin Folta stream of consciousness channel of derangement and delusion. It's like a cable channel. You click it on, and this guy is doing psychopathic, crazy, multiple personality stuff. And it's just incredibly entertaining. He might actually get a following of people who just can't stop laughing at what he's doing. People who they don't even care about GMOs or non-GMOs. They just think, wow, this is a college professor, a scientist who's paid by industry to be a lunatic. I mean, it's endlessly entertaining. Wow. And by the way, The Atlantic interviewed him in a big attack piece on the food babe. You know Vani Hari, the food babe? She's a good gal. You know, she's been doing a lot of clean food, transparency type of article coverage and getting a big following too. And The Atlantic did a big hit piece on her because, of course, the food industry hates the food babe since she's telling the truth. So The Atlantic interviewed Kevin Folta, and he lied to them all throughout the entire article, just made crap up. Like, oh, no, I don't have any ties to Monsanto. That's absurd. I'm paraphrasing, of course. He says something like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Well, now we don't really know which Kevin Folta was on base that day to answer those questions. Was it Kevin Folta personality 1 or personality 2 or whatever? And when it came out, thanks to the U.S. Right to Know campaign, when it came out that Kevin Folta had taken this money from Monsanto, and they published the letter from Monsanto. It was like, yeah, here's your $25,000. And they published the emails from Folta saying, oh, you're going to get a big return on your investment. Then Kevin Folta came out and denied it. He continues to deny it because he's living in la la land on the other side of his brain. He's got like an island of denial on his right hemisphere, and that's where he hangs out most of the time. And then he's got like the Sea of Delusion somewhere in between there, where the corpus callosum is located. And then he's got sort of like the science professor city of theatrics somewhere on the left side of his brain, and he commutes between the island of across the Sea of Delusion to the island of whatever, back to the city where he's a professor. So we don't know which Kevin Folta is ever going to come out on any particular day. Your guess is as good as mine. And so now, when he got busted for all of this, then he comes out and now he sort of claims ownership of the Vern Blazek show, the Science Power Hour, trying to say, oh, it was a joke all along. No, it wasn't. He tried to pass this off as a real podcast that no one listened. It was like, I think he had like 40 Twitter followers or something. Really? I mean, wow. That's just sad. It's kind of sick. It's kind of scary and not at all surprising. Kevin Folta, you are one pathetic science douchebag, let me tell you. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Health Ranger Report. Please support us by visiting our online store at store.naturalnews.com, where you can find the world's cleanest, laboratory-validated superfoods, nutritional supplements, personal care products, shampoo, chemical-free products, just about everything for your home and body and health that you might want, including supplements for your pets as well. Everything is laboratory validated in our forensic food lab, and we don't sell something unless it tests clean. I think we're the only online reseller to do this really extensive testing of everything that we sell. If we don't like the lab test results, meaning if it's not really, really clean, including with heavy metals, then we don't sell it, period. We have free shipping on orders over $99 and a satisfaction guarantee on everything that we offer. So check us out now at store.naturalnews.com, and thank you for your support.